Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
The news keeps coming and coming and coming. I'm Slidewhistle.
I am Immunization.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. And I'm here to be your guide. It's Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag.
Slippage.
If you say slippage or sing the Space Jam song one more time...
Okay, but we got serious news. We can't get into Hey Arnold asides. Like I almost said the Mr. Green stuff. No. We got cross-faction shit happening in 925, and I'm still gooped, gagged, and malooped.
Yeah, and we're talking like you will be able to cross-faction group up for raids and Mythic Plus and PvP, correct?
Yep.
Yes, so it's interesting because it's all the organized content you can get together, and there's been a big thing of like, the community's finally together, we're finally one. If I roll up to a Blood Elf and hit him and slash say with like, yo, what's up? He's not going to know what I'm saying, right? Unless we're in an instance.
Correct. Yeah, there's going to be no cross-faction things unless you are grouped together inside of the instance. Actually, I do think if you join a party, you can probably talk to them if you're outside in the world, but you can still kill that person, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, they actually clarified that. They said that even if you are in a group with a Horde, like assuming like from our point of view, because we're Alliance, that you could technically summon them to Plaguefall, kill them at the stone, and then run into the instance. But then, like, probably leave your group, but, yeah.
Oh, God, the
like...
organized hits. That's something we would do in college, is just all night, like, trying to join groups or make groups just to summon people and whack them as they load in.
Okay, you say in college, but when the minute this was announced, and the minute I read that line, I was like, okay, well, if I'm thinking about doing this, that means that some people out there are definitely going to do this. And I still kind of want to do it, at least once.
They also did clarify, though, that you would need to specifically say that you want cross-faction to queue for your group if you put it in Group Finder, things like that. I mean, overall, I think that this is a big dub for Alliance players. Because, like, as we said before, like, sometimes our, like, Group Finder is pretty empty. And we're, like, I don't know, I feel like... Well, it goes beyond just the fact that we're on Proudmoore, but, like, I feel like there should be more groups than there are. But
yeah.
Then we go on our Horde alts even, and, like, those groups are bumping. There's so many. So I feel like...
While I'm doing my Horde alts, I'm queuing for dungeons, and I'm doing it as, like, Windwalker Monk. Instantly, every single time. And that's even, like, not marginalized, but, like, smaller content. Like, I was like, BC dungeons, please. And it was instant.
You know what's funny? That is actually the inverse for PvP for the Horde. Isn't that weird? Because Alliance Battlegrounds, if you queue into a battleground, you will get in what, like 30 seconds? Like a minute? Horde Battleground queues are like our dungeon queues. I didn't know that.
I didn't think about this, but yeah, they need an Alliance team to face, and there's like literally 2 Alliance RPG teams ever, like, period, at any given time.
And it's not even just RPGs. It's if you do random, if you just do like the regular random queue for heroics or for battlegrounds, which by the way, heroic dungeons, regular battlegrounds, those do not count for cross faction because they don't want to have that be like the opt in opt out if you're forced to do it.
Wait, heroic dungeons aren't?
They are not.
Interesting. Well, I guess that means I just will never see them in a dungeon then. Not being like, I'm too epic, but like, I feel like going into expansion, you do normal for the first month, and it's like, okay, bye, stinkies.
Yeah, even on your alts, there really isn't a reason to do them most of the time.
Yeah, it's just a mythic thing, and you have to go through Group Finder to make it happen, obviously. Or you can just invite your B-Tag friends if you're friends with them, so.
I wonder how this will work for mythic raiding. Say that there's a Horde on Proudmoore before Hall of Fame. Would they be able to join us?
I would think yes. I don't see why not. Now, I have seen some people are like really jumping the gun on this. They're like, we need to have cross-faction guilds right now. And I'm like, well, yo, we gotta chill, right? We gotta slow down because, like, I think you can still pick somebody up like that, right? A Horde Proudmoore person can join us.
Right. And I do think that they actually addressed this, because a lot of people were like, well, that's pretty much everything that we've asked for besides cross-faction guilds. And they said that they're going to take it slow and listen to feedback in 9.25, and they said that they're open to it, which if reading between the lines, that kind of is implying that they might be thinking about that for 10.0.
It's kind of what it sounds like. They want to take a slow approach, and I think this is the best approach to take right now, because it eases our Mythic Plus pugging pain. My God, you're telling me that we're gonna have a tank instantly, basically, right? Like, holy shit.
But it also introduces a really, really big problem too. I think we're really underestimating how bad it will be that, it's very likely that we're gonna get a Volpera in our group.
Oh, fuck!
Boo! Y'all stop being mean.
I don't want one of those little nasty
They're
fucks.
just as viable.
No, they're not.
Also, you know you won't. I've had to hang out with these guys pretty exclusively for like 2 weeks. It's nothing but Tauren. Like, I used to be like, oh, it's nothing but Blood Elves. It's just Tauren. And the fact that there's 2 types of Tauren, that's all anyone wants to do over there.
The only thing that makes it worth it, of us having to hang out with these little nasty foxes, is that they are going to have to look gnomes and mechagnomes in the fucking eyes in their groups.
Yeah, that's true. The Horde will also have to share that burden with us.
Whoa! This is mechagnomes are one thing, but standard gnomes, they are accepted.
No. Slide did say he lumped gnomes in there, but my comment was mainly at mechagnomes.
Okay,
I know that a few episodes ago we said
I was like, because I'm okay with the mechagnomes. I understand the community doesn't, but standard gnomes, they've earned their spot. They're in the group photo.
The Worgen, oh my God, they have to deal with those guys too. Ugh. This is crazy though. This is absolutely nuts. Now, so back to the cross-faction guild thing. I want to go back to that one. So some people are saying that it's not enough because it's going to be hard to maintain contact with the opposite faction player, which is kind of true. And so they're going to be leaning on communities pretty heavily for this, which I feel like most people don't really use. I still use communities quite a bit, actually. So I don't know if I'm just in the right groups or I'm seeking it out.
I know that those mega guilds, is it like AIE or whatever, they are cross-server already, and they have an add-on so that they can make it so that their guild chat is all combined. So I assume that, even if they need to, make the community rely on add-ons to, be able to contact with your Horde people in your Alliance guild or whatever, they'd probably find a way to, make an add-on for that.
I don't think you even need an add-on though. We have Discord now. We have Discord and communities, and I guess really realistically, me and Immune are speaking from somebody who does this. We raid with a guild group on the weekends with Dogs with Jobs, and we're not in their guild, and we don't see anything that happens in guild chat, but we still are able to successfully raid with them and communicate with them pretty easily and handily. You add them to your VNet tag, you get in their Discord server, and you're just there. So, I really don't think the argument of, we need cross-faction guilds now, otherwise it's not going to work, doesn't really hold a lot of water.
I do think it would be cool, if they decided to do it and made it work. I think, that is the logical next step from what they just announced now. So I definitely see it happening in the future. It's just a matter of time. And I can only imagine overall how much work they have to go through to make even cross-factional content work successfully on their end.
I don't know if we're going to be getting cross-faction guilds in 10.0, because a lot of their decisions right now are trying to ease the people who don't want to team with the opposite faction, right? You can choose to opt into this. You don't have to do it. Once you do cross-faction guilds, it's over. Nobody's going to be able to escape unless you have like a only straight alliance only.
It's going to be like all of those guilds advertising in trade chat on Proudmoore that they're like, we're LGBT friendly. And then they're going to be like, we're LGBTQIAAH plus friendly.
When you said that they were straight alliance, I thought you were saying we're only alliance and we're only straight.
Listen, Aaron, you need to let go of that old guild.
Why'd they break down? I really do hope my man is doing well at college. He told me where he went once, but I don't remember.
Once cross-faction guilds become a thing, we can make that guild. We can recreate it for him, Aaron. We can bring him back to the game.
Well, the two of us would be lying, at least.
That's fine, though.
I'm sure the vast majority of straight was lying.
I think what's also really funny is that, so as they're working through, like, all the cross-faction stuff, some of the raids still can't be cross-faction, like Battle of the Zarlor or Ice Crown, because of the components of the two factions. But also, like, why would you even need to do that? Like, who cares? Like, I guess, you know what I mean? That's old.
They could also make it work, though. They could, like, if you were a horde in a mainly alliance group, like, during the alliance part, they would just make you into alliance, and then you would just be your main self during the horde part, I suppose.
I guess it's weird because, like, I'm just particularly thinking of Daza. The character models are very different, and maybe there's, like, an associated voice line that with that character's voice. But I think the abilities are all the same. Like, the Blood Elf guy isn't doing anything different that the Culturian guy is doing.
I mean, I guess we don't know. We haven't done it. I mean, maybe it is different. You know what I mean? I feel like it almost has to be different. Otherwise, it would be super easy, I feel like, to just be like, oh, yeah, it's fine. You can go in as one factioner.
They do have different Wowpedia entries. I know because when I was looking, like, 2 weeks ago, there is a distinct, like, Jadefire People Alliance, Jadefire People Horde. So maybe there are different strats, in which case, that's weird. I know there's different strats for Grong the Unliving and Grong the Never Gonna Keep Me Down. So I guess, yeah, there is difference to some of the bosses.
And you know what? This also is interesting, because if you think about this, right? If Battle of the Zarlor is not going to be available to do this in 9.2, that means that this idea for cross-faction raiding literally is a Shadowlands thing. Otherwise, they would have designed Battle of the Zarlor to be easierly accommodating to the faction swapping, right? So they were not even considering it by the end of BFA, which I feel like would have been the spot to consider it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense, because every time it's, like, been brought up at BlizzCon for, like, literally since the beginning of BlizzCon, I feel, and they were always just like, ha ha ha, maybe, like the way that your mom says maybe when you ask for something, and then you know it means no.
Yeah, so like I want to go into Ian's interview, because it's pretty funny. It's not often I say that Ian has to eat his own shit, but he had to eat his own shit, because he's been one of the people who's always been like, it's one of the core pillars of the game. It's never going to change. Warcraft 3, Warcraft 1 and 2, humans versus orcs. That is our foundation of the game. And then in this interview, he was like, whoa, listen, times change.
Ha 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 ha, funny Garrosh line.
But
I'll play the song in the background.
Like, it's funny because in the interview, he literally, he did basically say, okay, so we were wrong. We are looking at things that the community has asked and that we told them no. Right? So that's a pretty good acknowledgement of, like, how they need to take more feedback and actually listen to it. He literally called themselves stubborn. He said that we're stubborn, we're traditional, and I was like, okay, well, you're getting a little too close to hating the gays there, Ian. But then he tried to spin...
We have plenty of families in the game, so you can say that we stand for family values.
Our family values, our nuclear family also has the Borealis ring as intended.
But, okay, he tried to spin this as he said, it's easy to assume as shorthand that the core idea is Horde versus Alliance. I think if you go back to, like, Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 2, well, yes, that's literally the case. But from Warcraft 3 onwards, I think the ideals of Warcraft have been adventure, exploration, but also the fact that we actually, fundamentally, have more in common than what separates us. The Alliance and Horde are both defending their homes, searching for homes, fighting for family, for honor, for justice. This motherfucker literally said 6 months ago, basically, that, like, well, Warcraft 3, they hate each other, so we can't do it. And now he's like, Warcraft 3, they can get along. And I'm like, you can't use the same example for this. Like, you're double speaking us right now.
Well, we know what speak is true in this sense, because we're getting cross-faction shit in 9.2.5.
It's honestly kind of scary, isn't it? Because, that's not... Like, you can't undo that. Like, that's going to be our life once it happens.
Real talk, I never thought this would actually happen, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because it's like it's a thing that everyone wants, and then part of me is like, well, it makes sense to satisfy people. You do want to put it in, but also it is just a thing where, like, how is this design choice going to affect the content? That's my big thing. Is like, I feel like there are, even though people are like, we're tired of it. I'm tired of them. There is still some Horde versus Alliance story they could have told, but they're not going to do that now.
Yeah, and like I never thought this would happen until there was that weird BlizzCon interview where they were like, "We're looking into it, and maybe the future holds something different." And I was like, "What is this vague, weird speak?"
Yeah, which at the time I think we just threw aside as like, oh, they're just doing that thing where they don't really have an answer. But overall, this news drop left us with some big questions. Like, what does this mean for at least the three of us, our favorite, like, war mode? Like, what does this mean for that? How will we interact in cities where, like, technically you can be friendly towards people who are, like, you group up with, like, that are Horde? I like, can they go come to Stormwind? There's a lot of questions that are up in the air.
Yeah, I was in the shower today thinking about that. Like, I can be cool with Grognak, my favorite orc friend, but I saw a tweet that was like, we're going to be dancing on the mailboxes in Orgrimmar. Will we? Because if we can't talk outside of a group, I assume the guards are still going to snipe me down.
Yeah, and that's where I'm stuck too. Okay, so obviously in 925, none of that is happening, right? We're just going to be doing instant stuff. But if cross-faction guilds ever become a thing, how the fuck are they going to handle war mode? Because if we're all mixing and mingling and in the same group and in the same guilds, who do we kill out in the wild?
Yeah, I could see this happening several different ways. I think that they could still have war mode as is, and then it's just like an opt-in to world PvP, opt-out of world PvP, and then, like, I guess technically that means you could kill your Horde guildies if you were in a cross-faction guild in 10.0 or whatever, but I don't know. Currently they're saying that it's kind of just like an instance thing, where, like, if that's their thought process, I could see how in the future they could say that, like, or at least the way I would justify it is that, like, we are teams and guilds of Azeroth's, like, core adventurers. We're, like, you know, the very small group of heroes that saved Azeroth, where we might work with the Horde to, like, save Azeroth, but the masses of people, like the humans in Stormwind, still wouldn't want to see an orc or an undead, like, in the trade district, you know?
Yeah, oh God, this feels so bad. Okay, I'm just going to blanket statement. In the real world, I don't endorse this, and I don't want it to work like this. But, yeah, it's going to be tough to have these groups of people where it's like green men came out of a big portal 15 years ago, and we've continued to fight each other forever. I'm still very mad at them. And they're not just... I don't see there being a lore reason or things where there's like, you know what? Maybe they're A-okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because, okay, so, like, everyone just RP focus on lore, right? Families have been slaughtered by these green alien men. You can't expect everybody in Stormwind to just be, like, all cool with this, right? Like, Death Knights, even like when Death Knights come into Stormwind, they get hit with tomatoes
even when
oranges.
They're humans.
Yeah, like, so how the fuck are they gonna react to a Tauren hanging out in the bank? Like, lore-wise, it kind of is still fucked up. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like you can allow them into each other's cities, but that just feels weird if you're in a guild together, right?
That's why I hope that even if they do allow it, that, like, from a lore basis, like, you still wouldn't allow the other faction into its, like, the opposite faction cities. And that's, like, sorry, like, if you have a cross-faction guild, you'll have to, like, meet in Oribos or, like,
I was about to say,
place,
do you have to go to somewhere that is neutral? Be like, oh shit, I gotta go to Booty Bay. Booty Bay is the only place where my love for Grobthar, the orc woman, can flourish.
There's just a lot that cross-faction guilds I feel like would just change. And a lot of it is just in war mode, right? Like, think about, like, when people raid Ironforge. What happens now? Because if I'm in... Usually what happens in war mode is you can ask your guild for help, or, you call in reinforcements. But if half of your guild are the other faction, well, they're not going to come and help you, right? Why would they?
Yeah, imagine trying to mobilize an alliance group in your cross-faction guild saying, like, we're going to the Undercity to kill Sylvanus. And then the other half of your Horde guild in guild chat is like, we are organizing a group to stop the rest of our guild from killing Sylvanus.
That's also is a very minor thing. I hope that they mark down in your cross-faction guild, if that is a thing, who is what. Because I would hate to be like, is there anyone... Well, like not memorizing names.
Oh, no,
and then someone
yeah.
goes and talks to me and then they bamboozle me because they were secretly a troll the whole time.
They actually show up. Oh, yeah, you need help, where you at? And then they kill you. Like, yeah, I man, like, there's just... That's why I feel like they're really going to take their really, really sweet time on cross-faction guilds. There's a lot to unwind for War Mode, and I know a lot of people don't do War Mode. We haven't been in War Mode in a while, just because I feel like the zones are so small that they're so bottlenecked that it's really hard to get anything done without getting into a fight every 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Which I kind of want. I think it's time. I think it's time that we go back in. It's been too long.
It is, not call to action, against overwhelming odds. It's still there. I don't know how long it's been there, but just the other day I noticed that guy was there. I was like, you know what? I want to act like a fool.
Yeah, I want to... There's something... This is not sarcastic at all. There's something about wasting my time fighting a troll bitch in a cave for no reason other than, like, he looked at me funny and so my mob, that I just love a lot. Like, it's bizarre. I literally waste so much time fighting people for no reason.
I mean, both of us do as well. Like, we like, back in BFA, that was our shit. We all got those achievements just for killing Hordes. Like, we ate that shit up. Like, I love that shit. And that's why I'm sad that, like, if this cross-faction thing leads to, like, the end of War Mode or, like, the end of World PvP, which I guess could technically be their solution to this. Yeah. They're just like, no more War Mode. Everyone's friendly now, which would suck.
Okay, now, I do have a solution to this that needs a lot of workshopping. And it kind of goes back to... Trade Chat, Aaron's podcast. Weren't you guys putting, like, factions and, like, different, like, groups together?
Yeah, that was
right?
that was during God, fucking what, the Warfront, the Night Elf Warfront.
Yeah. And
sort of the tensions based on that. Yeah, we created a green team, a tertiary faction. So,
like, I've been trying to cut up the Horde and Alliance, right, and putting them together, and then I cut them into thirds, and I'm like, what would the 3 different groups be? I'm thinking, like, the Night Elves and the Torrent automatically are in a group together, but who goes with them?
I would say Worgen.
The Worgen, yeah, because they basically live together.
Well, it's tough because
right.
I would say the Worgen as a people could go with the green team. But Gen, he is so alliance positive that it's like everyone but him could go, but how are you not going to have your leader there?
Okay, but once they decide, once Anduin shakes hands with, like, the undead and is like, we are now friends, I think Gen would be like, yo, I'm getting the fuck out of here. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, no, and that's why I think, like, one of the Eastern Kingdom alliances, as in not the alliance, but, like, working together or, like, being a new faction, would probably be, I could see humans, dwarfs, and undead. Because they're, like, already, like, Kalia and Anduin and Jaina are all, like, friendly. I could see that working out, especially if Sylvanas is out of the picture.
And, wow, that just actually makes a lot of sense. The gnomes have, or do the gnomes have to be there? They have the mecha gnomes now, and the goblins.
So. No, yeah, listen up, guys. I have another theory here.
I think they can make a techno island somewhere.
Yes.
Oh.
So then, like, you have, like, the goblins, the gnomes, and the mecha gnomes. They could all be like, yeah, we're all techies. We're together out here on this island.
Okay, but see, what my idea is three groups. I mean, I guess you could do more, but if the more you do, the more difficult war mode becomes, right? If you pledge yourself to the techie islanders, that's just 3 races. You're gonna get wrecked by every other race out there, right?
Well, maybe then you could just make them the Island Boys, and then throw in like the Coltirans and the
Island Boys, and also the Volpera, because they're technically Island Boys.
Oh,
I just don't think about them.
Yeah, they're not in the game.
So mean.
But yeah, I mean, like, so, like, if there was a way to make that, like 3 different factions, and in war mode, you're like, I want to be in this faction, and then you fight the other 2 factions, that's still kind of weird, because you're still fighting way more people than are on your side, right? It's not cut in half, you're cut into thirds. And there's just a lot that I think war mode, I think war mode will suffer in the end, because either it's going to get this kind of care, or it's going to be completely neglected, and it's like, you kill the Horde, or you kill the Alliance. Good luck.
Or they just might make war mode go away and then just revert to like the whole PvE PvP server thing, which is weird as well.
If they can't do that. It's too late for that. I feel like war mode is something you also can't really undo. If you undo it, you have to give free server transfers for like 3 months. You know what I mean?
I know, and that's why I do think that like their 2 main solutions would just be like the one that I would not prefer, where it's just like get rid of war mode, everyone's friendly, which would suck, and the only PvP would be like actual PvP, like battlegrounds and things, or the war mode on, war mode off button still, and then you're still just like Horde Alliance, so like you wouldn't be able to go into the opposite faction cities and things.
I would give so much to just be a fly on the wall, because these discussions are happening, but with the people who actually make the game. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, what do we do? What the fuck do we do now? Like, what the fuck? And the only reason this happened, it has to be because of the Alliance Horde split must have gotten so bad. It has to be way worse than you think.
I saw a tweet that was, and I don't know where they're getting their numbers, it's 77-23.
I mean, that's what it feels like most of the time.
Yeah, like, and I don't know the website they got, but it's 77% Horde. Like, that is atrocious.
A lot of it is truly just because that's where the player base is. I have been pleasantly surprised with the amount of posts I've seen on the WoW boards of Horde people being like, oh my god, I can finally play Alliance now. All my friends have been playing Horde, or it's where the best ratios have been, and now I can finally be Alliance. And I'm like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's a lot of people saying this.
I can only imagine that like all of the like top feral druids that are on Horde side are like, hell yeah, we are now going Night Elf for the Shadow Meld, baby.
100%. The feral Discord literally every hour is like, I can finally be Night Elf again! And I'm like, you could have been Night Elf all this time, but it would have been suboptimal for your playstyle, probably.
And then you have Kalis over in the corner who's been warging for some reason.
What is she doing? Kalis, why are you warging? I mean, to be fair, the Shadow Meld Rake.
Gotta get Dark Flight, which I'm pretty sure is not even as fast as you guys naturally move.
But having 3 speeds is so good. I mean, like, and I don't think Shadow Meld Rake is even. It's not that strong to be like a game flipper. It is really strong though. I just get like an extra stun and an extra bleed. It's so good. But it just, there's a lot of different parts moving, and I don't know which to focus on. I'm like, there's 9.2.5, there's 10.0, there's people who are Horde wanting to be Alliance. Like, that still shocks me. I can't believe it.
Okay, so that leads me to another question for you two. Assuming we can still be in our Proudmoore-based Uno Mas guild, would you guys race change your mains to something else?
No.
I don't think I would either, even though technically I think most Holy Priests would want to be, like, Blood Elf for the, effectively, like, mass enemy dispel thing that restores mana, which is crazy, or Goblin for, like, the movement.
So I kind of went down with my alt list to be like, are there any alts I would change to be Horde? And I don't think so. I was like, ooh, I can make my shaman a goblin, like Gum Gums. And I was like, my shaman is bludgeon, and I love Dark Iron Dwarfs, so no. And I do want a Zandalari of some type, maybe a warrior, which has been like my most iffiest one. But like, I'm still kind of like, nah, I don't think so.
I think the 3 of us are in this weird newer school WoW player where we actually legitimately care too much about the factions.
I will admit, there is one that I would change.
Ooh, who you got?
Booty ATW is currently an Alliance
Come
Panda.
on. I hate
And
you.
I would change her into a Horde Pandaren.
I was thinking
Just
about
kidding.
that.
Just kidding. I wouldn't even do that for a joke. No, the only one that I would even think about is Nastisha maybe can turn into a Forsaken man. I don't know.
hang
I
on,
don't
let
like
me
how
think.
Forsaken women look, but I also don't like the very thin elf, the Void Blood Elf. I do
Boy,
not
that's
like
what you
them.
are. Okay, I was like, Nasisha, what is she?
Yeah,
She a
she's
void elf, that's why.
she's a Void Elf, Affliction Warlock. The only thing is, if you were like Aaron, you got to choose one. I'd make her undead male, but that's it.
Sorry, Wooly. Void elves don't rule. That's the verdict, baby.
I mean, maybe the men do. The women's animations, like they throw their arm a little bit and it snaps because they're such petite creatures.
I mean, my only technical void elf is actually a high elf, so
I don't have one at all. I don't think. No, I had Squirm, my Shadow Priest. Yeah, but like, there's like legitimately like I there's not like what would I play a Tauren as? I'm not playing it as Druid. My Paladin is a dwarf forever. Like, there's nothing. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
also hope you would play a woman, because having played a male High Mountain for 50 levels, this is ugly.
I actually like the male Tauren more than the woman Tauren. It's like the Worgen rules. You can't wear a head. You can't wear shoes.
It's the hump for me. It's the same thing
the
for,
hump is pretty
for
bad.
Worgen. It's the hump. It's the bent back.
That's fair, and that's a lot of the Horde's problems too, because they're like, straighten our backs out, and now they're like, wait, we can play Alliance races. Everybody wants to play Dark Iron Dwarfs, which I'm like, you guys would pick the edgiest of that the Alliance has to offer.
Definitely Alliance's villain class.
I feel like the crux of being Horde is wanting to be somewhat edgy. So yeah, that checks out to me.
Ooh, we're making fights, but I'm like, I can't even like process like a lot of this, because we're jumping far in the future when we're just gonna be getting PvE
Yeah, I was
dungeons.
getting heated and like mind racing about cross faction guilds. That's not even a thing. That's something we made up. Yeah, we're just getting instant
I do think
content.
it's gonna happen eventually, though.
Yeah, but I was like, what's that going to mean for my gameplay come next year? But it's like, no, it's just an idea right now.
Well, and the fact. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the interview with Ian. It's IGN, by the way. Also, IGN's still alive. How the fuck's IGN still alive? That's my first question.
I don't have an answer.
Would you believe that they are one of the leaders in games journalism?
I guess if I had to think of other game journalisms, it's Polygon and it's Kotaku, and so yeah, I believe it.
Bobby Kotaku.
Oh, stop. Okay, so IGN asked Ian about cross-faction guilds that we're talking about. But they also asked him if they were gonna do it in Classic, and I'm like, what the fuck? Can we chill? What are you talking about? And he didn't say no. He's like, he's open to hearing community feedback and reconsidering if the desire is there. But Ian suspects they won't have technical or ideological reasons to implement the change. But if people in Classic want the change, then they'll consider doing it. That alone makes me think, like, holy shit. Like, how the fuck do you do Classic and cross-faction guilds? What?
Okay, that is so weird to me, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the direct quote from them when they announced Classic was, "We're gonna release this exactly how it was in Classic for you dirty whores, because this game sucked back then. It was suboptimal. There was trash everywhere. There was broken code, and that's what you want, so that's what you're gonna get."
Yeah, it's weird. They said that entire thing verbatim. I would have thought people would have gotten mad that Ian was screaming at them, but they ate it up.
But honestly, though, once the community was like, okay, listen, we know you said that, and we need XXXXX changes, and they made them, and the game has been flourishing. I'm shocked. They had their what's it called? They had their meeting for their stock prices. What is that called?
Their
The quarterly
earnings
meeting.
report.
Yes, and they only lost 2 million users. They went from 24 million monthly active users to 22 million monthly active users. That's nothing. That's dog shit. That's dog water.
Oh my God.
They are really taking feedback, basically. And so, and Ian says, at this point, I know better than to close any doors. Which is like, oh my God, do you? Please, you?
Yeah, well, you don't want to say definitively nothing will happen, because then you're getting memed on for 10 years at that point. The fucking guy who said, you know what you want, but you don't want it, his house was burglarized. People were like...
And he lost his job at Blizzard.
Wait, was that Alex or Frezzo?
That was J. Allen Brack who said that.
Oh.
and then they made him re-announce it at the thing because no one thought he could be the one to announce Classic. So the one who said that announced Classic, and now he's not with the company because Bobby Kotick threw him under the bus. Though to be fair, I feel like it's really hard to say.
His hands weren't clean.
Yeah.
I don't know to what extent he was dirty, but his hands weren't clean. Just all that gang. It's a very, and I know Immune won't like this, but it's a running joke in our Overwatch group of just like, Jeffy Caps, what did he do?
I mean, like, I'm not a Jeffy Cap stan. I just like Overwatch, okay? Like, I mean, like, he can't be an OG Blizzard person and have his hands clean. You know what I mean? Like,
did you know that Overwatch has so many fucking players still in 2021?
I'm going to act surprised. Until yesterday. Yeah, you told me yesterday, but I'm still going to act surprised.
2 days ago, according to Active Player, which again is not, I don't think Active Player is an active measurement, a good measurement, but I've seen this a bunch of other places. Overwatch has racked up at least 5 million average players each month in 2021, peaking as high as 7.3 million. People play Overwatch, but the thing is, people don't talk about it because regular human beings will log on to their game, play it, and not complain on a forum or a subreddit or a Discord about, I hate this game. No one's playing that.
Yeah, so you're saying that all these online spaces are echo chambers that say that the game is dead?
Exactly. That is exactly what's happening.
And this podcast is an echo chamber that says it's alive.
You know that's true, baby. My, 8 million Mercy hours say it's alive, even if it's just me.
Which is crazy. Like, just play the games you want to play. Don't listen to what other people say. Just do what the fuck you want to fucking do. I'm excited and I'm scared because we are probably some of the newest people to. Which actually is not true, by the way. Oh, it's not. Trade chat has been absolutely wildin'. Oh my God.
Speaking of boosting, let's boost on, drift on into this growl on the prowl.
Yeah, you booster! Oh my God, good joke.
Greetings all, Growlina here to welcome you to the midpoint of episode 163. Today's Growl on the Prowl has me with Nexton, a mechanome mage with a real chip on his shoulder. Next, what's the problem today?
Well, I appreciate that the mechanomes can have these little claw hands as well as fingers, but why can't we mix and match them?
I see. You'd like the ability to have a claw on one hand and some digits on the other?
Exactly!
Why not just fly to a barber shop whenever you feel the need arise? You can easily swap them out and just be on your way.
Well, what can I say? I'm an indecisive guy, LMAO. I want the ability to swap them out on the fly. Give me some bonus hands, just, to keep in my bag so I can live a free life.
That's an amazing idea, Next. I want swappable parts for our littlest mechanical friends. They're working hard to not be seen as cringe, so it's only fair that we let them live free. Until that fateful day, though, I've been Growl, and here's part 2 of the show. Wow, thanks for that initial D reference you probably made because I said the phrase drifting and boosting. We're back to the second half.
And while we're talking about boosting, I feel like we need to talk about the other really big news bomb that came out this week in the WoW sphere. And I'm talking that like Blizzard just like out of nowhere decided that they're banning boosting services. I mean, like not completely banning, but like kind of banning.
Yes, so let's start off with some clarifications here. Your guild can still sell boost runs for gold. You can still buy boost golds with runs.
Because it was on the record books that I did take part in a few Jane amount runs, and I didn't want old Johnny Law swatting my house.
I don't think it would be retroactive, but yes, as has been monumentalized in this podcast, we had several non-successful Jaina.
They'd have to watch the video for evidence. They'd be like, "Wow, you guys suck. You guys stink so bad. You get to go free."
But they have banned the big organizations that exist, and there's a lot of them. What is one of them? Like Cacao, Okakao? I don't even know their name.
Man, that just reminds me of that one Portlandia skit where their safe word was cacao.
I've never seen that, so I don't know the reference. But Cacao! Is that it?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I bought a boost from one of these people. Because what happens is there's a level 1 priest who was like, hey, if you want to buy your Mechagon... What's that dungeon called? It's Mechagon?
Yeah.
Wow, that was how unoriginal. It was to buy like that mount, right? That was gonna go away if you didn't do it on hard mode. And I didn't have a hard mode group that could do it or wanted to do it, right? We were like 3 of us, we were short people, we didn't have a tank, it was a mess. So I bought it for like 100k. And I'm like, go peons, do my work for me.
Job's done.
This little baby priest came and took my money. But the priest was on Proudmoore, but the people that I was grouped with were not on Proudmoore. They were on like Kil'jaeden or Sargeras. They were somewhere else. And I was like, okay, this is weird. If I give this priest gold, how do these people get paid? And I guess that's exactly what they're banning is escrow, because these organizations have like a level 1 person on each server that takes gold from everybody who's buying a boost, and they just like, I give this person on Proudmoore 100k, and then a person on Sargeras or Kil'jaeden pays out the people who are carrying me with gold that they have on that server. They basically are like this huge banking system that has gold everywhere on every server for buying and selling carries.
Wait, so they're banning that. So I feel like normally they advertise in like Group Finder, and I know that they're banning it in Group Finder, right?
Yes.
So could they still sell it in this way via trade chat?
So this is where it gets kind of weird, because I feel like technically they could, but they are banning escrow in general, which means no.
But how do they prove that it's that kind of selling?
And that's the part where I don't have a fucking clue, because they're saying that you can still... Okay, so they had to make a blue post about this. I believe cross-realm boosting is disallowed. Almost I read it wrong, which is what I thought, right? Because obviously, if you can't hold it in escrow, how do you cross-realm boost? Organizations who disruptively advertise across all realms and establish escrow services are the primary target of this policy update. Guilds and individuals who are inviting players from another realm to join them in traditional game activities in exchange for gold are allowed, as they were before. I mean, okay, so think about this. We also do have an example. Big Bear, if you're out there still listening to us, you bought one of our Jaina runs, but you weren't on Proudmoore, right?
That was technically what you're describing. And you were the middleman, so you're going to jail.
No. See, I didn't hold the gold in escrow. I took his gold, and what I did was, now that gold is my gold. And I took that gold, and I put it into a battle pet that I boxed up, took with me to Proudmoore, and I sold that battle pet on Proudmoore for roughly the same amount of gold that I put back in the guild bank. Wink, wink. So that's not escrow because I'm not a banking system that gives gold to other people on the other server, which was Proudmoore, which is really weird because, again, how do you track that, right? I felt the line is so thin between the two.
I mean, they probably know the main service. Like, there's probably, like, distinctly several main services that are doing this.
I mean, like, yeah, to be fair, the ones that are doing this, they're huge. They have websites. I actually joined a website. I think it's Dawn, Argent Dawn. It's just called Dawn, and they're a humongous group that does sales, and they are in panic mode right now because what do they do? Right? This is how a lot of players play the game. It's just like it's interesting. Like, I think overall this is a fantastic change because Group Finder has been a fucking mess.
But what's really funny to me is that people are acting like trade chat was saved overnight by this, and I'm like, honeys, like, that is distinctly the place where you could still sell guild runs. Like, that is the place that you will still be getting that. So I'm like, I don't know why you're acting this way. Proudmoore's guild chat has not changed. It's still the same. There's still all the anal achievements, and then, like, dispersed in them, like, actual, like, guild sales of services.
Yeah, it's very weird because I hang out a lot in trade chat on Proudmoore. You may have seen me in Battlegrounds. Maybe you know me as Alan. Maybe you know me as Wild Seed. One of y'all tried to report me for advertising the podcast, which I did find out, actually, we cannot do, by the way.
There you go.
In what way? Like,
can
we not, like, just not do the link, or can we not even talk about this?
So
show?
I was reading the TOS, and it was like, you cannot advertise, like, outside anything. And now that we have a Patreon, I think it's even more bad because okay, the way I Googled it was Twitch streamers. Because, like, that's, like, the most, close I can get to. And it was like, no, you can't, because that you can get a sub from that, and that's money. And I'm like, beans. I'm still gonna do it. Don't report me.
Oh, so could I, like, hypothetically, on an alt that is not named, just post in trade chat saying, hey guys, I'm looking for a new WoW podcast. My current favorite is Another Pod, Do Not Relent.
You could do that, but now that you've said it on air and it recorded, you're going to jail. Behind the bars, mister.
I'm underwater.
but seriously, but trade chat has not been, like, literally, people on Proudmoore will have a good, long discussion. And there will be, like, a couple of people spamming who are like, join this raid, or go to this website, last spot open, and they're there. But, like, it's not as egregious as Illidan server, which is like the chat moves so fast you can't even read the ads. People are literally coming back to the game and resubbing just so they can type in trade chat and say, hey guys, Blizzard did it. They banned alt boosting, and now I can come back, and I'm here to say that this is so cool. And I thought I was being trolled. I thought this was fake. And then the dude was like, have they added anything to any holidays in the last 4 years? And I was like, oh my god, I think this guy's for real.
This guy, I mean, I'm sure I know it saved him money, but this guy left the game because he was tired of trade chat? That shit's been left for years.
Yeah, I don't really understand because you can just leave it, right? But the minute he was like,
that's why I'm not seeing these things. You guys are like, oh, they're wilding out in trade chat. And I'm like, okay. The only chat I have is / like local defense and newcomer chat.
You left trade chat and never came back? R.I.P.
Yeah, I got into one political argument, and I was like, this is something in my life I don't need, and just absconded with it.
I just don't read it most of the time because I just don't read chats most of the time because I'm illiterate.
I love trade chat. There's so much happening.
Thank you, but episode 9's never coming. I don't have the files anymore.
Listen, that's how we got Kim in the guild. Somebody in the guild used to raid with, ooh boy,
Nick Carter. It was Nick Carter.
No, Backstreet Boys. Fuck, I got it wrong.
Is distinctly Nick Carter, yes.
She raided with Nick Carter. She has picture proof. I've seen all the evidence because I was like, I don't believe her. I'm looking her up. This is definitely in a past episode. Somewhere I've talked about this. And I found her in trade chat. She was like, hey, I'm new to the server, just transferred. Is there any guilds recruiting? And I was like, I'm taking a chance on her. And she literally talked about Nick Carter and the guild, and I was enthralled. And you can find evidence of this. He's a big WoW player, or he used to be. Might still be. Who knows? Anyway, the whole point of this was that trade chat on Proudmoore has not really changed. And so now, like, in the evening, there were like 3 to 4 posters. And now, obviously, they're not there because every single organization is restructuring, probably into smaller local guilds to still fulfill their thing. But people are acting like it's clean as a daisy. And I'm like, girl, it's gonna come back. And also, why would you only come back for this? That's so bizarre.
It's so weird to me. I'm like, whatever. I mean, like, I'm not gonna like kill your party, be happy, but like it's not done. Like, that's the one place that they'll still be advertising once they regroup.
I mean, some people chatting in trade chat is the main thing they play. You just get enchanted with it, and then it takes you 15 months to finish your campaign.
The people that come back and say, oh my god, trade chat is so clean, immediately say, I'm so glad boosting is banned because boosting has ruined WoW. And I'm like, okay, but how has boosting ruined WoW? And they're like, because anybody can pay for anything they want. And then I say, but how does that affect you personally? Because buying a boost in this game will rarely, ever affect you. The only way it will affect you is if you are a top player in either PvP or Raid or Mythics, right? And somebody buys a boost and gets gear ahead of you and it like pushes you out of the ratings, but no one's buying that many boosts.
Their argument is probably that they don't have the gold to buy a boost, so they feel it's unfair to them.
Which again doesn't matter because everyone, the minute you buy a boost, everybody knows you bought a boost. You can look at their armory. You can see they have 1 Sylvanas mythic kill and no other bosses. You can see that they have they have 10 mythic 20s done and nothing else before that. It's so obvious. If you party with them, they're gonna be dog shit. Dog water. You're gonna know, right? You know who the bad players are, who are boosting. It does not affect you.
It reminds me, I'm sure it's a story that everyone knows, but a guy traded accounts to get Warglaze of Azeroth. Blizzard watched him be absolute baloney at like 2 other raids, and they're like, okay, well, that's not you. This was like a sold account. Goodbye.
Yeah, like it's like, you know, and I'm not talking about like money. I'm talking just like gold bases. People who have a problem with this are so stupid. It keeps players playing the game. Players who can't come back and who can't make, like they had a kid or they got busy and they just want to get their mount for AOTC. Why not pay some gold to get your mount? Who cares?
I agree. I feel like it's a win-win for the people who are willing to grind mats to sell them to get gold to buy the services. It's good for them. It's good for the top-end people that carry them through it because it gives them something to do in the downtime before a new patch comes out. It keeps them interested. It gets them some gold for the next tier where they'll be pushing Mythic first or whatever they're doing. So I feel like everyone's happy. I mean, I personally haven't ever done this because I don't care, but like I feel like it's good.
Yeah, it's a legitimate business, and I know people are like, hey, it's a game for fun. It's not a business, but like with a collection of high-end people like that who are going to get bored, it's a good way for them to stay high-end. You get money from people paying you to get trivial things that matter to them.
Yeah, it's honestly the most bougiest RPG thing you can do. Oh, here you go, minions. Take my gold and do this quest for me. Finish my achievements for me.
Me not that kind of orc.
As long as it's gold and not real money, that's where the line is drawn, obviously.
Right.
It's just so baffling. People are like, the game is saved, no more gold boosting. And I'm like, you are bad at the game. I can already tell. And I armory them, and they are bad at the game. Should that matter? No, it shouldn't matter. But it matters to me.
There's something else that has happened this week that is similarly baffling to me.
What? What? I don't know what this is. What happened?
Okay, so we got a lot of big news this week, right? And in addition, we got a lot of new, like, 9.2 things added to PTR, like, changes. They have the splash screen now, which normally means that, like, we have a date coming soon. We feel like 9.2 is coming soon, but we do not have a date yet, which I'm like, okay, so now that I've literally said this on recording, it will be announced tomorrow before this is released.
Thank you for your service. The egg will be on your face, but the rest of the eggs will be on our plate, and I thank you for that.
Then we have to do a bonus episode for the fucking reveal. Fuck me.
But yeah, I just feel like there's been a lot of news, and I just want a date, and I feel like it has to be soon. It's gotta be, right?
People thought it was coming last week. Like, it's gotta be coming. I thought it was gonna be this week, and it's gonna fucking be tomorrow after we record, and I'm prepared to record another episode to fucking bonus episode out. Fuck me.
And another thing that was announced that is equally as weird, I guess. I mean, I don't really know how to feel about it, boys, but they announced that there is going to be a Warcraft mobile game coming this year, like 2022.
So I'm just gonna go out and throw my big wet blanket out. I just think it'll be a different version of like mobile app.
I don't know. I don't think so, because I feel like in the past we've had two versions of the mobile app for this, right? For like WoW, and they don't normally get this big of a lead in. It just kind of happens. They disabled the old one, took away our auction house, and gave us this one. Now, it's possible this one could just be an auction house app, which, oh God, please. I miss being able to buy auctions at work and selling. Ugh.
Give me the little 3D renders back. I like that.
Oh my God. Aaron, I was just going to say, give me a dual function armory where I can watch myself dance and watch my mog, and also an auction house where I can sell things.
So,
I want to sell those medallions of the Legion.
So yeah, literally just you have all the code from the app from 2015, put it back.
I don't think it's going to be either of those. The Blue Post says, Blizzard is planning substantial new content for the Warcraft franchise in 2022, including new experiences in World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, and getting all new mobile Warcraft content into players' hands for the first time. My grand theory is pet battling and fishing. Those have been the absolute top two requests from players for a mobile app since like 2008. Since they're now doing this thing where they're like, okay, listen, if we're gonna do cross factions, maybe we should finally do the fucking pet battle app and the fishing app. And I think that's what it's gonna be.
Maybe they're like, it's high time to just give the people what they want. And if that's true, like, whatever, will I use this? I'll have it downloaded, but I don't know that I will actually use it. I mean, I don't care about either of those two things. I've never had a main that has had max fishing, and I only have like a few pets that are max level, so whatever.
The first comment says, pet battle mobile, please. Oh God. People want this. Now, some say RTS. I don't think it'd be RTS, but I think it's gonna be pet battle adjacent.
I would love, unironically, it would make me smile ear to ear if there was a designated fishing app where you just select the zone, select the like rough pond you want, and then you just tap to throw your line in, tap to bring it out, and just do that ad nauseum. Like, it's such a simple app, but it's better than doing it in game where you have to track like with your mouse to click on the bobber.
You're 100% right, though. I unironically would have that on my desk while I'm working, just casually doing that every once in a while.
Absolutely, because think about it. When I'm playing WoW, normally I'm got from work. I don't have time to fish. I have other things to do in WoW. If I could fish when I'm shitting at work, you know I'm gonna fucking fish in the toilet. Of course I'm going to.
Kerplunk.
I mean, but they did say They didn't say World of Warcraft, though, did they? They said getting all new mobile Warcraft content. It could be an RTS, which I think would also... Clash of Clans? Anybody? But with... I would play it. I'm sorry to say, I would play Clash of Clans World of Warcraft Edition. I would do it.
I do it, you hear?
I very much would, especially now that they can go back and do that with like all the extra units and races and stuff. It'll be much more interesting than the olden days of humans and orcs.
Whatever it is, you know we're going to download it, so...
It's gonna take up space on my phone.
And now it's time for our top toot, bottom boot, medium moot. Immune, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, I have a top 2.
Ooh, toot.
And I don't know, our guild has been all about the mythic keystones this week. And I have been running them on my hunter mainly, to the point where I like have 2 full slots of 15 plus gear in my vault for next week.
Ooh.
And I also got Keystone Master on my hunter.
Nice.
So that's a top 2. I didn't think that I would have 2 characters with Keystone Master, and overall I am proud of myself. I feel like I am fairly competent at Beast Mastery Hunter, which is admittedly easy, but so is Holy Priest. I am an easy class master. Let's do this. But Slidewhistle, what do you have?
I got a top 2. I got 2 top toots. Toots.
Toots.
Toot.
So my toot originally made before I heard Immune's toot was a similar toot in that my boy Alan, my unholy Death Knight, has been killing it in Mythic Plus. The damage that this boy can turn out is absolutely absurd. I had no idea.
Which, like, this week was a little unfortunate, because it is... Fuck, I am so bad at these affixes names, but I think it's bursting.
Correct, it is bursting, and what's the other one? Volcanic. Volcano's nothing. But bursting is one that sucks, because it means I can't just kill shit immediately, unless we have a Holy Priest to master spell. But I'm using on his Hunter, getting his fucking Keystone Master, so I couldn't fucking...
Listen, I sometimes... not only need to top the healing charts, but I need to beat your Death Knight on the damage charts.
Oh, so when did that happen? Because I don't remember that happening at all. Because I was on top of the charts for the overall fight. If you look at the menus, baby boy.
No, the only time you beat me is when you switched to your druid.
No, that's not true at all. Look at the meters. I was on top of the overall.
I don't think so.
I 100% was. Are you being sarcastic right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so obviously I beat him in the meters by this voice.
He's just embarrassed. I'll let him talk his shit.
I know. Being big boy on top is very important.
Don't worry, you'll see the screenshots soon enough. I have them still. I'm still.
He's got the receipts.
I got the proof. But anyway, before you try to ruin my top toot, I've been loving it. I just feel like Unholy just feels really, really good in Mythic Plus right now. And he's like 1,800. No, sorry. He's fucking like 1,699. I need like almost one more point to be able to upgrade my shit. I hate the system. Why isn't it account wide? Still not a bottom boot.
I really was hoping that I don't know why, but like in my soul, I was hoping that Slidewhistle was going to say Alan is 1738.
1738.
Oh, my man's is in prison. He can't make any new albums.
He deserves.
I'm ready, Fetty.
Fetty deserves to be in prison. Fentanyl, slinging that should be a crime, and it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crime that he went to prison for.
So bad.
And he farted out an album before he did, though, and that's what us Fetty heads gotta...
I did love that album, not gonna lie.
Unironically streamed it.
I did stream it a lot. Most of it was to support my man Fetty, but, you know, I'll give it a little break, then come back. I'm sure I'll appreciate it more.
It was a lot of nostalgia for hearing his voice and his, like, murmuring, you know what I mean? Anyway, back to what I was saying. Loving Death Knight. I'm gonna get some master on him. I have like 5 like 11s. and I'm like 1,700. So like, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, you'll get it this next week probably.
You know, I said it was a double top 2. What was my other one? I already lost it. All this Fetty Wap talk took it over. Aaron, what do you got for us?
It's been 7 years. It's been 7 years. That's my favorite, where he just talks about how long it's been since the last album came out.
Since I heard a Fetty Wap song.
But I have a top toot. My toot is that for my upcoming birthday, which, by the way, if you're listening to this on Sunday, it's my birthday, so you gotta give me 1 Bitcoin.
Whoa. Whoa, hold on there, bud.
Aaron, that's kind of a big ask. I don't know if you know that.
I know. Everyone needs to give me 1 Bitcoin.
A Dogecoin?
Make me a millionaire, please. I'm gonna use it to buy a picture of Queen Amidala and tell my mom that I own it.
NFTs.
And then I will screenshot it and post it on Twitter and be like, I have it too.
Well,
Sorry.
guess what? I'll say, hey, check closer. It's Keira Knightley. It was the fake Amidala the whole time.
Wait.
You fell for my trap. I own the real one.
Is there a Queen Amidala NFT coming out?
I'm sure there is now.
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna buy it. I love Queen Amidala and that her little goofy ass hair buns on the side. Look at it.
Fuck NFTs. Anyways, no. But for my birthday, Cubby Bub got me all of the boxes of World of Warcraft up to the best expansion, Warlords of Draenor.
That's cool as shit.
It is.
Okay, so what are you gonna do with them, Aaron? Are you just gonna like put them on a bookshelf facing outward, or like what's your plan? Because that is sick as fuck.
I really don't know, because as anyone who owns the box knows, they open like a trifold that features really cool art and really cool both lies that Blizzard says. The Wrath box talks about the dance studio and aerial battles, and them fishing for like multiple things to say about the beginning patches of expansions. One of the selling points in the Mists of Pandaria box here is do a flying serpent kick as a monk. like that's going to be a selling point. Like someone's like,
What?
I don't know about this one. And then they see do a flying serpent kick. They're like, oh, that's sick as hell.
So is that their big kicking move that flies across the map? Or
yeah, the thing that they can do at like level 27.
I mean, it's cool, but like, is that expansion selling?
Or like, there's one here in the Kata box that's like, defend Gilneas from the Forsaken Navy. I mean, I guess technically, but like, it's not you'll lose.
Well, I mean, Serpent Kick's pretty cool.
Serpent Kick is pretty cool. It's really cool. We're moving. I have full autonomy on the new office space that we have. I don't know how much of this room is just going to be me showing off these boxes.
I mean, like, as you saw, our second bedroom is literally just us showing off all of our Warcraft stuff, so power to you.
But I will assume we'll have the Legion, and I guess BFA had like 1 box. And then that's it. For anyone out there who didn't know, Shadowlands has no box. And I doubt going forward they will have boxes.
It has a box, but only for collector's editions, and I have 2.
It has a big rainbow box. It does not have a little trifold like the rest of them do.
How do you know? You haven't opened one. You haven't opened my box. It has a trifold inside of it.
Does it?
Only one way to find out.
I mean, I technically think the box itself is a trifold. It's a thick-ass trifold.
Yeah, I think
that is true.
I can open it right now and find out.
Is it sealed?
No, it's not.
But 1 is sealed, remember, because Target gave me 2. Confirmed, not a trifold.
Well, there you go.
Wait a minute! Not a trifold.
My statement stands. Anyways, it's really cool. I'm really excited to set those up, and that was this week's Top Toot.
Toot toot! Lots of toots over here. Lots of farting boys.
That is us, you know?
This episode and all of the jokes, good and bad, in it were brought to you by these lovely people. We're talking about friend of the pod, Tajurla, 4th host of the podcast, Joe Monkey, Ahoy Vince, aka Nathanos killed himself to see Sylvanas and she won't even pick up the phone. Vanderlyle, please don't right-click and save my shout-out. NSYNC/Drag Race, Crucifix, Saracen Hawk, Odorno, giving a shout-out to Cubby Bub's Mountain Mama jacket. Gershom, check out Thrall's Balls. And Will, aka Tyre, Trade Chat's Fallen Father.
Fallen Father.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
And with that, we're out of here. If you guys have any comments, questions, complaints, you can send us an email at donotRelentPod@gmail.com. You can join our Discord at donotrelent.com. No pod. Talk with us, chat with us. We were in voice chat playing Overwatch, playing all kinds of games. World of Warcraft too. You can follow us on Twitter at donotrelentpod at twitter.com. What about you guys? Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at New Era Alex, or you could follow our podcast Gram on the Gram at Do Not Relent. You can follow me on Twitch, where I stream sometimes at Immunization DNR.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at TheBigAcheesy on Twitter.com. Read the literary musings at DoNotRelent.LiveJournal.com. And finally, find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/AaronDNR.
Goodbye. And remember,
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.